Zamir White looking jacked. Looking absolutely jacked. We're on the Dynasty channel, not the main channel. If you're watching recommended, you don't even know you're recommended the Dynasty channel, make sure you subscribe. And if you're unaware of the main channel, make sure you click the link in the description and watch the Fantasy Football Show on YouTube as well. We're here to talk CeeDee Lamb dynasty value. The concern of not having Dak Prescott involved in the future plans of CeeDee Lamb is as alarming as we feel about JJ without Kirk Cousins now that the dust is settled and we're not sure what to make of JJ McCarthy in that Viking system. So we're here to talk about CeeDee Lamb from a long-term perspective. As much as we're excited about Lamb for 2024, we're here to talk about Zamir White's dynasty value because he looks like he ate the playbook. He looks like he ate CeeDee Lamb's contract. It looks like he ate everything in sight. Zamir White's coming for everybody in 2024. Will he stay healthy? Will the team be good enough to support him and not make him face 15-man fronts? in this system, we don't know what in the hell is in store for Zamir White. He's going to be facing 8-man fronts, stack boxes a lot, so it's going to be concerning, but this guy looks like he can eat his way through the hole. So we'll attack all of this and more. The Fantasy Football Show Dynasty Edition begins right this very second.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Dynasty Fantasy Football Show.
Appreciate you all being here. Everybody file on in, hit that like button on the way in the door. The phone lines will be open in 1 second, but we are talking, ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost about Zamir White and how this man's coming in jacked. He's looking yoked. He's looking like a massive, this is a massive unit just sitting here in front of your face. And I don't know if that looks like it looks like an iPhone mini, but it's not. It's probably the iPhone 18 Max times 2. And it looks like a tiny little, almost like a little tiny flip phone in his hands. This man had to put on at least, I don't know, 10 pounds of muscle, at least 10 or 15 pounds of pure muscle. He looks like Derrick Henry in a sense. I mean, he looks massive. This guy's a huge human being. And I went back and looked at some footage of him. He's a pretty strong, big guy, but he looks totally different. Now, sometimes angles play funny tricks, and maybe it is in this case a little bit, but he's definitely gained at least 10 pounds. And I'm real excited about his future. The only thing that would concern me, two fronts. They said that's an iPad. It might be Blackbeard. Blackbeard, is that, who said that? Travis, it's an iPad. It might be an iPad. It might be an iPad Max. It might be a laptop. He might have ate the keyboard. But the 2 points of concern for me for Zamir would be, one, his offense, right? 8-man fronts, defensive attention. Just if you watch a lot of his plays at the end of the season, like you pull up Zamir White highlights on YouTube, you'll see him just hitting just, stack boxes, congested rushing lanes. It's not like he had the most marvelous year. He got volume. And it's not his fault, though. Like, you understand what time it is. You know that Zamir White was doing a lot of good things with very little to work with. But he was the reason a lot of people won a championship, because he racked up a lot of volume and yards and got it done in a very impossible situation. I just don't know if we're going to be seeing a bunch of gaping holes for this guy to rip through. And we got to hope that they can move the football down the field. Brock Bowers can help keep defenses a little bit honest. But I'm still super pumped about where you can get him. So in 2024 redraft or 2024 best ball, Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Link in the description. This is a great player to grab in the 7th round, 8th round. You can sometimes get him as late as round 8. I've seen him go later. I've seen him go earlier in round 7. But if you're going hero RB, he's top of my list of being my RB2 in that rotation of RB2. So you're drafting Jonathan Brooks, Trey Benson, Zamir White as your running back 2. Rotation, tryouts, if you will. Who's the best man that can win the job? That kind of deployment of your RB2. He's fantastic being in the mix for that. Jalen Warren and Zamir White and Benson. That could be an unbelievable rotation. So that's redraft. That's best ball. In Dynasty, it's no real different. You know, there's some risk involved in trying to count on this man to be a long-term answer for you, because he could come out of 2024 completely worn down. He could come out of 2024 not as effective as we want because the offense is limited, and then his job security is not there because the team thinks it's his fault. Certainly possible, but the fact that he's not coming into the situation like last year, like just kind of, we don't know what to think, we're going off of film from last year. He's coming in with something new to offer fantasy football owners. Hey, look at me. I'm absolutely yoked up and I'm ready to take the NFL by storm. I'm feeling more, I don't know, you could say willing to take the risk on a Zamir White as my rotational dynasty running back too, because he might come in and just stomple people, just absolutely steamroll everybody, and be that breakout St. Brown of the wide receivers in 2024 for the running backs. Remember when we had St. Brown on the Moon Man list and people were like, St. Brown. Nobody was higher on St. Brown than this channel, the main channel, not the Dynasty channel, but the main channel. Nobody knew what he was going to do, but we did. And now how popular is St. Brown for a pick? How much do people love St. Brown? A lot of people say dark horse, number one wide receiver. Like, some people love this guy so much, and it makes me proud inside that this is the guy we brought to the table. Nobody knew he was coming like we knew he was coming. Zamir White has a little bit of that edge to him, especially coming in with the weight. Makes me feel very confident to back that feeling, that kind of like, like, had he not brought anything to the table, had he been the same size walking into the season, we haven't heard any news about him. You know, they didn't draft anybody, they didn't sign anybody. News is they probably won't even address the position at all. This guy ate everybody in the running back room anyway. There's no one left. But had he not had a thing to bring to the table new to kind of make us get excited, I'd still love him. What he did last year, I loved what he did last year. There's something special about what's going on right now. I'm willing to take the gamble. I want to own this guy in a dynasty league. I don't know that I'm putting all my eggs in one basket, that type of situation. There's still the Raiders offense is still a big piece of this puzzle and algorithm. That is the, what will he do? What will be the output of Zamir White? It really is an algorithm. You got to plug all the information in. You've got quarterback rotation. You've got Davante Adams is 87 years old. You've got this. Does Pierce really know what he's doing, or do people just love the way he talks? Does he just motivate the players because he shit the bed during the draft? Not getting a quarterback for Davante Adams and the boys, letting Penix Jr. just sit out there. Oh, he'll fall to us. Bo Nix will fall to us. They didn't do shit. So I blame Pierce. I don't like what Pierce did in the NFL draft. Bowers is a good pick, but they had Michael Mayer. You didn't necessarily need it. I'm not saying I don't like Bowers more, but you better trade Michael Mayer while he's still got value. Figure out your QB room, Pierce. What are you doing? So there is concern, but I love what I'm looking at. I like what this guy's bringing to the table. Now, the Ceedee Lamb front, Sick Nasty, what's White's trade value in, and Maxie would pay for him? And this is a celebratory question from Sick Nasty here on the Dynasty channel. It's a great question. Man, White's trade value is probably, in Dynasty, he's going in the 6th, 7th round. I'm sorry, in redraft, he's going in the 6th, 7th round. I have to imagine he'd go in the 5th or 6th round in a Dynasty startup. But Dynasty startup data and mock draft data is really hard to get a feel for, because you've got so many different draft tendencies. I don't think there's a real good feel of what his true value is. I'd probably say damn, this is a tough one. Like, he's not as valuable as a George Pickens, probably not as valuable as a Michael Pittman Jr., probably something along the lines of a DJ Moore, he's definitely not as valuable as a Pacheco, definitely around the Zay Flowers territory, Jaden Reed territory, Calvin Ridley territory, Kenneth Walker potential territory. I think both those guys are arguable, to be honest. Terry McLaurin's older. Some of the rookies like Keon Coleman and BT, I could see somebody saying, give me Zamir White, give me the Zeusinator, give me Zeus, baby. You know, if they need an RB, like, could I see somebody trading a BT or Coleman to try and get a running back? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that feels out of pocket, and you guys tell me if those values seem appropriate. I to be honest with you, it's a tough thing to answer. Drop your comments to those valuations, guys. Does anybody feel like some of those make some sense? Anybody feel like they wouldn't pay that value? Drop a comment on that specific round of players that I dropped. Thank you, Sick Nasty, for dropping the celebratory message. As far as what's going on here in Dallas, I mean, look, Dak Prescott, conversations about his contract have been kicked into gear a little bit, but not too much. So that means that they're still very far apart. The news about Dak's foot wearing that boot during the 4th of July festivities, he says it's literally absolutely nothing. I believe him, although he did say, or we did see a report somewhere saying that like he should be fine by camp, but maybe that was just somebody writing that, and it wasn't like there's a concern about it taking that long. He says it's nothing, so I believe him. Dak Prescott has all the leverage in the world. He is not signed a long-term deal. The reason I'm talking about Dak is this whole show is about Ceedee Lamb's dynasty value. And right now, without Dak Prescott locked down, with Dak Prescott, every day he's more upset about not getting a contract. And he's upset because they've disrespected him. And every day he feels disrespected, I venture to say he's got a little small smidge of I want to go test the market and go somewhere where I'm appreciated. If Jerry doesn't think I'm worth $60 million a year, which is rumored to be maybe where this thing's going if Dak is to be retained in Dallas, he's got to reset that market. Brock Purdy, who doesn't deserve it, is going to cost $62 million, $65 million. This is going to be crazy in the offseason. And the Niners are going to punt the idea of extending him early, and they're going to wait until, July to sign Brock Purdy? Oh, it's going to be weird. But Dak Prescott, man, without Dak Prescott, I don't feel the same about Ceedee Lamb. I still love him. He still has a place to stay. If he ever comes in town, I'll pop open the pull-out couch. That guy's always got a special place in my heart. But can he live in the number 1, number 2 overall dynasty spot, the number 3 overall dynasty spot without Dak Prescott under center? I mean, we're seeing JJ Justin Jefferson, the real JJ. Let's not call JJ McCarthy JJ. That's blasphemy. We've seen JJ Justin Jefferson fall to 5, 6, 7. In redraft, he's falling to 7, 8 sometimes. In Dynasty, he's still 5, 6, 7. But he's not 1, 2, or 3. Because he's married to JJ McCarthy. Now, maybe JJ McCarthy's going to be good. Sick Nasty's in the building. He's a moderator, a damn good one, I might say. One of the best in the world. Him, Travis, Blackbeard, Space Ricky. These are some of the best moderators on the planet. All 4 of these guys. And Sick Nasty seems to love JJ McCarthy. Now, I don't. I'm not saying he's a bust. I'm not saying he can't become Baker Mayfield or even Jared Goff someday. Like that's saying something positive about him. But what I don't know, what I feel he needs to prove to me is, can he support even remotely close to, can he support the amount of volume that is required that we're used to seeing in Minnesota to give JJ Hawkinson when he's healthy, Addison the targets they need. And even if he can't, will he overstimulate the JJ side of this thing so that at least he can be overfed and everybody else can be starved? We have no clue. That's why he's not moving a single inch. The moment, and not to mention Darnold's expected to start week 1. So we don't even know where this thing's headed. So from a dynasty perspective, JJ, I don't think he can be 1, 2, or 3 ever again. until we see JJ McCarthy prove me wrong, which he could, but I don't know that I'm betting on it. Clearly. So if Dak Prescott's out of Dallas, what's their backup plan? You think you're just going to get Shedeur Sanders no matter what? You think you're going to be able to for sure trade into the number 1 overall pick? Is it yours? Who is it? What quarterback you bringing in? Is it not even one of the top 2 QBs? Are you going to be begging Justin Fields or Russell Wilson, whichever quarterback doesn't return to the Pittsburgh Steelers, if one of them does? Are you going to be begging that only that quarterback to come play for you? Is Jerry Jones going to come in the 11th hour and offer the right deal to Dak, and this thing's all locked up before week 1 kicks off? I don't know. That's what we're here to talk about. I'm going to open the phone lines up and see if you guys, and Ceedee Lamb hasn't gotten his long-term deal either. There's still a remote possibility, because logic tells you they're bringing in Lamb. They got to retain Lamb. Lamb's awaiting his contract. You know, Lamb wants to get probably 112 to 115 guaranteed. 112 to 115 million guaranteed. He's getting 110 no matter what. That's what JJ got. He's not signing a single thing under $1 under JJ's contract. So Jerry's out of his mind if he thinks he's going to get Lamb cheaper. Every day Jerry's waiting, he's ruining this thing. There's still, as I was trying to say, there's still a small chance that Jerry wants to blow the whole thing up. Does Lamb get moved? Does Lamb end up somewhere else? Is that a possibility? In Jerry's world, it is. In logical minds, it's not, right? Don't think with your own logic. Think with Jerry Jones's brain. Because he might blow this whole thing up. Down to the phone line.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
I don't know what to think on this one, guys. I mean, honestly, we're guessing here. I gotta come clean, Smitty. Johnny's got a 9.1. I knew you didn't get a 9.9, bro. I just stayed at this liquor pizza. This place called Trevor's Liquor has 8.4 rating by Portnoy in terms of pizza. Highest rating, I believe, in Phoenix, maybe Arizona. Period. And I went there. Oh, Pizza Bianco might have the 8.4 as well. But I think it was 8.3 or 8.4. I don't know, bro. My brain's foggy. But I had it tonight. I've had it before. It's pretty good, but it's spicy and really hitting the esophagus. I got to keep forcing this water down. Heartburn's going through the roof. But 9.1 solid. All right, but I knew it wasn't a 9.9. I don't think he's ever given a 9.9. Anyway, phone lines open. Dial in. Let's talk about Ceedee Lamb and Zeus, Zamir White, a.k.a. Zeus. These two guys from a Dynasty perspective. Phone lines are open. 30 to 40 of you YouTubers in here filing in and out. Hit that thumb up button, please. We're going to try and get back to daily Dynasty shows. I know I've said that before, and I'm really trying. So we'll definitely do that. Nothing hampers the main channel. Nothing stands in the way of the 8 p.m. show. That's a train that is never going to stop moving. Everything else is peripheral, but I'm trying to make it, smash. The Dynasty channel. It's a priority, but it needs to be daily if possible. So I'm trying to bring that to the table. In some of that, though, I got to keep these shows shorter on the Dynasty channel, so we won't keep this too much longer. Maybe 10 more minutes or so. Phone lines are open. If you want to be a part of this conversation for the next 5 to 10 minutes, dial in and let's discuss. First, Travis, let me ask you some leading questions. Keep your answers very short so I can get through these questions. 1, likelihood of 1 to 10 that Ceedee Lamb is going to be a long-term part of the Dallas Cowboys. Don't use your own
scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah, don't use your own logic. I'm asking you to give me on a scale of 1, 0 being he's not a part of the future plans at all. They're not going to give him an extension, basically. or 10,
Yep.
he's going to get his extension. But remember, answer this in terms of what you think will happen, not what you think should happen using logic, because Jerry Jones is starting to make me wonder what in the hell he thinks about this team.
Yep. I'd say 7.
Okay.
7 out of 10.
What about with Dak?
With Dak,
Same
I
question.
go the same because I'll say the same because I think if one goes, both go.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. I mean, and McCarthy, same thing. You know, like Jerry has not decided to bring back McCarthy, to bring back Dak, to bring back Lamb.
Like a 5.
Yeah.
I think if they don't win a round of the playoffs this year, McCarthy's gone.
541 caller. What is your name, bro, and where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Smitty and fellas? I'm Phil. Phil.
Phil.
Calling for the first time.
Where are you calling from, Phil?
I'm calling you from Oregon, but originally from Connecticut.
Oregon. Okay, Oregon. Are you from Oregon though? You have to have family from Oregon because you say Oregon right. People that are not from Oregon say Oregon.
Oregon.
I'm from Oregon.
That was the first thing I was corrected on when I moved here.
There
I
you
was
go.
saying Oregon.
I'm from Oregon.
Everybody corrected me.
You're like, shut up, Phil. All right, Phil. 0 being not returning, no long-term deal at least, or maybe even traded. Odds Ceedee Lamb is in Dallas long-term, 0 to 10. And again, think like Jerry, or try and predict what this is going to be, not what you believe it should be.
You know, I'm in the middle. I'm at a 5 because of Jerry's unpredictability and strangeness. You know, getting rid of Zeke and then bringing him back, etc. I just don't know.
Yeah, this is crazy, man. It really should be a 10. It should be a 10 for Dak. It should be a 10 for Ceedee Lamb. It should be... I could understand the McCarthy part, but at the same time, I believe what you have going on right now is not something you can improve upon going and starting over and blowing it up. No one's saying that it can't be better. No one's saying they shouldn't have brought in a Derrick Henry who waited by the phone and Jerry didn't call him one time. No text message, nothing. He didn't even get in contact with Zamir White and let Zamir White know, you know, who is probably holding his iPad right here, you know, looking at the messages. But Jerry didn't even call Derrick Henry one time. And so I don't blame this on McCarthy. I don't blame this on Dak. I don't blame the continuous losses and dropping the ball on Dak. I think Dak's coming in with confidence this year. I think Dak deserves way more respect. And I think that the same respect we give Josh Allen when he fails and when Lamar Jackson fails and can't carry the team on their back and they don't deliver, we should afford that same type of leniency toward Dak Prescott, but we don't. Why? America's team, the spotlight's on him, for one, is a little bit more than in other places. And the Dallas fan base, the Dallas media, it's all so Jerry Jones. It's all so focused on if the team's not winning, something's wrong. And it's very easy to see for us what is wrong, but apparently not for everybody else. And anybody that says Dak is garbage or Dak isn't good enough or Dak's not even a top 8 to 10 quarterback or something stupid like that, I don't think they're probably a little bit biased. You know, they probably have some fandom in play that's making them feel very bad about Dak. But Dak is a very skilled player. Dak is definitely in the top 10 quarterbacks in the National Football League. He's proving it production-wise when he's a top 4 fantasy football quarterback, and this isn't the first time he's danced in this territory. So if anybody thinks Ceedee Lamb from a fantasy football perspective is better off without Dak, you're out of your mind. Phil, what do you have to say about that?
You know, I'm a Giants fan, and the Cowboys are one of our sworn enemies. But I was I was happy for Ceedee to see him get all that action, because over the last few years, I'm like, I'm out on Dallas receivers. They don't pepper anybody with a lot of targets. I don't know about Ceedee, but, then again, my scope of analyzation is kind of small when it comes to, how things are going to play out in the following season. So I wasn't ready for Ceedee, but, man, the guy that drafted him in my one redraft league, my one managed redraft league, he did the double-decker and he won the league. He took Tyreek and Ceedee, and that was a wrap.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to be in store for this, fellas. All I know is that from a dynasty perspective, you have to consider that CeeDee Lamb may not have Dak Prescott. I'm not saying I run from Lamb. I'm not saying I trade Lamb. I'm not saying I drop Lamb too much in my dynasty rankings, if at all. But you have to be willing to take on the risk of that Lamb could be very much like JJ with an unknown quarterback situation. And as I keep telling people, I know a lot of people expected once the Minnesota Vikings invested in a rookie quarterback, once they drafted one, JJ's value would return and redraft just a little bit. It didn't. It didn't move. In fact, it moved down about one spot, kind of sum total since the draft, maybe even two, depending on what contest you look at ADP wise. But people are no more confident in his future now that he's married to an unknown situation. It's like, I think people got punched in the gut when they said, okay, I hope he gets a rookie quarterback. Penix Jr. could be going there. Penix Jr. is great. And even Perps came on, and Ron Navy was giving Perps a hard time, saying you don't know what you have until it's gone type of mentality. And honestly, Ron's kind of right in the sense that, like, we're all sitting here, and we knew this is possible, but we're all sitting here going, I don't know what to make of this situation anymore. If it was Penix Jr., it would be great. It'd be worth the risk. But without Penix Jr., now that it's J.J. McCarthy, we're married to this situation for at least 2 full years, minimum. It's very rare that a team will draft a QB and move on immediately. The only time I can think of that at all is the Arizona Cardinals drafting Josh Rosen 1 year later. That very next draft, they drafted Kyler Murray. And it's because a new regime came in, Cliff Kingsbury wanted his guy, etc. And I give him props for that, because I thought Rosen was trash. But Rosen was a high draft pick. What pick was Josh Rosen? Was he number
10?
Ziggy, what draft selection was Josh Rosen?
In the 2018 NFL Draft, Josh Rosen was drafted 10th overall by the Arizona Cardinals.
Good. Ziggy off. Yeah, so number 10 overall. And the Cardinals wiped it clean. It's a clean slate. Come in, Kyler Murray. Let's go. Let's roll. And I appreciated that about Kingsbury. And that's why I always loved Kingsbury a little bit. He had the balls to do that move. It was a smart move. There's no way they're doing that to McCarthy. There's no way. I don't see it happening. He's a good kid, too. Rosen was a piece of a POS. Rosen was an arrogant, just douche. And McCarthy is a stand-up kid. Like, if there's one thing I tell you about McCarthy and Drake May, they're both stand-up kids, man. They're both very high-quality character people. And don't go disappointing me now, both of you guys. I got that clipped. Watch one of them go out and do something crazy, and it's like, Smitty loves those guys. but McCarthy's a quality character. And so there's no way they're giving up on him. And so anyways, we have if Dak walks, and remember, Dak can't be franchise tagged, Dak can't be traded. He's literally, if he decides he doesn't even want to sign anymore, if he says, you know what, you're going to give me what I want, I don't even want it anymore. I'm going to go ball out and test the market. You can't even bench him. Like you know how Sean Payton was going to bench Russell Wilson. Could have ruined his career too. Not that Russell Wilson has, I mean, he's got a good setup in Pittsburgh potentially this year and all that, but like, you could literally say, Dak, you're benched for the entire season, and Dak is still getting his bag. It doesn't matter. Like, everyone knows what Dak is. He could go tear his ACL tomorrow, be out for the entirety of the 2024 season. Just like Kirk Cousins, he's still going to get paid. He's a quarterback. He has nothing to prove. Everyone's going to be clamoring over him. So he's completely got all the leverage. And so he's going to go ball out, bank on himself. And I wasn't sure what that was going to look like. Was it going to mess with his head to not be under contract? That was early on. I wasn't sure, right? In the early offseason. Now I'm very, very convinced Dak has the confidence. He looks like a different guy right now. He looks poised. He looks ready to literally take on the world. And I think that he's going to have a remarkable season. I don't know if they fall short again. I think any team that sees that is going to blame that on the Dallas Cowboys over and over and over again. So Dak, it's going to be different come here. And he's going to march on over to one of these teams, get wined and dined like Kirk Cousins. And he's going to say the grass is so much greener over here. Whether it is or isn't, he's going to sign a new contract somewhere else. CeeDee Lamb's going to get left in the dust. And I hope to God he gets a competent quarterback. If the Cowboys succeed, their likelihood of trading into the 1 or 2 overall picks going to be not so good. Like, this is not a team that's going to earn a good draft selection. They're going to be a very good team regular season record-wise, and so they're going to be nowhere near the top 10 picks. They've got to literally trade into the 1 or 2. And the problem is the teams that likely get the 1 or 2 or 3 overall picks are not going to want to trade out because they're going to be the teams that have no quarterback. It's going to be the Raiders. It's going to be the Giants. It's going to be a team that needs that signal caller anyway. Like, the dream come true would be that the team that gets the 1 pick has a solid quarterback. They have no business drafting a quarterback. Dallas would have to then compete with all the other teams that are trying to get into that spot. Shedeur Sanders is no lock. The mindset of Jerry Jones right now is mind-boggling. You're gonna run the risk of having no quarterback to throw to CeeDee Lamb. He better smarten up, and I don't even know if Dak wants to stay anymore long term. Dak might say, let's wait a little while. Let's wait until the season. You know, I don't know that Dak...
Oh, sorry about that.
Go ahead. I got to drink some water.
Oh, I was going to say, I think you hit the nail on the head with Jerry Jones. I think he blew it. I remember when the Giants won that Super Bowl with Brandon Jacobs and Ahmad Bradshaw, and all Dallas had to do this year was bring over Derrick Henry and then use the other guys, you know, every once in a while. You got a decent defense. You got a great kicker in Maher and a great quarterback. Dak knows what he's doing for sure. I think he's closer to Super Bowl contention, or he was anyway, than maybe even he realizes. I almost think maybe he lost a bet behind closed doors and he wasn't allowed to bring Henry over or something. I don't know.
It was odd. They didn't call Henry, and then you heard that they were interested in Jonathan Brooks, and then when he went off the board, it's like they just forgot everything. They could have drafted any of the running backs, and it would have been probably better than what they had.
I don't understand how you don't come away with Jalen Wright or Braylon Allen.
Allen, yeah.
I mean, Braylon Allen looks like... Imagine how much hype we'd have around Braylon Allen right now if he was in Dallas starting by himself.
It'd be amazing.
Because he looks all jacked up as well, just like Zamir. And what a Mickey Mouse organization the Dallas Cowboys are right now. Same thing with... there are a couple of these, like the Giants and the Dallas Cowboys, like, they don't feel that far apart in terms of how they operate. I think the Dallas Cowboys are blessed to have the talent they have right now, but are they trying to run their organization like the Giants are running theirs?
Yeah, they gave Galladay $60 million, and he didn't. I don't think he even saw the field.
Unbelievable.
A couple years ago, whenever that was.
I agree with you on Dak too, because just the way things have gone for Dak, and just off the top of my head, the Saints and the Raiders, I bet they'd both be willing to pay him huge money next offseason. I'm sure a couple other teams out there would too.
I mean, even the Seahawks. Dak, I know it doesn't seem like a very likely landing spot when you close your eyes and picture Dak Prescott in a uniform.
But if that door opens,
opens
for him, they'd pay him.
Yeah, Dak with JSN and DK Metcalf and Kenneth Walker and Ryan Grubb's system It would be Ryan Grubb is the perfect offensive coordinator for Dak Prescott. Think of Penix Jr. Think of Washington. Yep. That's where he comes from. That's his offense. Penix Jr. was his quarterback. Ryan Grubb turns DK Metcalf and JSN and Walker with Dak Prescott into a monster. So, but the problem with
someone mentioned the Rams too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, we haven't even mentioned that one. That could be a real good one.
So right there, there's going to be 4 to 6 teams that are probably willing to give him a huge contract. And for that reason, if I was CeeDee Lamb, I wouldn't be signing a deal until I knew Dak is there, because otherwise, CeeDee Lamb is 25, 26 or something, and you're going into the end of your 20s with maybe no quarterback.
Yeah, it's wild, bro. It's absolutely wild. End of the day, I don't know what ends up happening, but I just feel like Jerry's got to wake up at some point. I feel like it's Bizarro World, and Jerry's world is Bizarro World, but this has to be something that gets rectified at some point. I can't imagine Dak Prescott walking into the season without a contract. So I'm going to say, I still feel like, even though this is high odds of not happening, 50% likely that he ends up getting a deal. The only thing that changes that is kind of does Dak even want to be there anymore? Because you think about it, Dak's making $50+ million this year anyway. He doesn't need to. The extension is extending that. Yeah. He doesn't need it this year. It's not like he's making $20 million, $5 million. It's not like he's Brock Purdy, right? He's making $50+ million this year. It almost costs him money to sign now. If he waits until next offseason, he might make $65 million a year and played on the $50 million and gets a bigger signing bonus. So I think people don't understand that this is not something where Dak has to do this. He doesn't have to do anything.
Especially because injury doesn't matter for quarterback. We just saw that with Cousins.
Yeah.
He could get hurt and still sign a monster deal.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He could tear his ACL today, not play a single down. He's still getting his money. He's still getting his deal. Everyone knows. Even if they lose in the playoffs, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's still getting his big fat contract because everyone knows what he's capable of doing. He's capable of doing it, and he's gonna get his bag. It's just the question is, does he make more money? Do his people say, you wait a year, you actually make more money? Like, he could go to Jerry and say, Jerry, if I don't sign with you right now, I'm going to walk into next offseason and get $65 million a year, and I'm going to get this amount of, guaranteed money. The market for me is $58 million right now, let's say. That's what he's going to say. 60. Let's say we heard 60 million get kicked around. Even if he said, I could technically get 60 million right now, I still want 64 because that's what I'm missing if I sign with you. Give me 64 million a year. He's probably could do anything he wants right now. Yeah. He's got all the leverage. To wait is only going to get him more money. That's the advantage he has of making $50+ million this year.
And then anyone who wants to say, oh, well, he's nothing without CeeDee Lamb or something, it's like, well, he can go to the Saints and have Olave, or go to the Rams and have Puka and Cooper Kupp. It's like, the world is just open to him right now in terms of money, opportunity.
And smart people,
all the leverage in the world.
And smart people know he's a great quarterback. He really is. Is he elite? Is he one of the top 4 or 5? No, I don't think so. But is he a top 5 to 10 quarterback? He is. He wouldn't be in my top 5, but he clearly can dance in that territory because he's finishing there production wise. It's not like he would be consistently in my top 5, but he can dance in there. He's definitely a 6 to 10 quarterback in the National Football League. The funny thing is, you talk to a Niner fan and they laughed in your face if you said that is Dak better than Purdy? Is Purdy better than Dak? This is a debate that's easily capable of being had. A Niner fan would disagree. They go, Dak Prescott, are you out of your mind?
I think if they have Dak, they have a Super Bowl.
Yeah, Dak is easily in this conversation. You know, I think it's harder to have Purdy in this conversation than it is to have Dak in this conversation, in this like top 5, top 6 quarterback conversation. Purdy's a good quarterback, but he's not somebody I'm putting in anywhere in the top 6 quarterbacks of the future. He just doesn't fit. It doesn't matter how good he could be. You know, he's going to have a good season. I'm not saying Purdy won't, but when Purdy loses all of his weapons, what happens to him? I don't know. I don't know if he turns into a pumpkin. He is more of a system guy than he is an elite quarterback, but he's more than a system guy. He's just, if you're talking about measuring Purdy in the systems over here, in the elite quarterbacks over here, he leans more system than he leans elite. Dak Prescott, I would say, leans more elite than he leans system. That's how I feel. So
imagine Dak having Derrick Henry, the threat of him and the play action and all that fun stuff too.
Bro, that's why Jerry diarrhea'd the bed. Diarrhea'd the bed. Then he woke up on the wrong side of it, climbed all the way through it, and then got up and went to work. That's Jerry. Jerry's an absolute buffoon right now. All right, boys, I'm gonna call it. I appreciate you both calling into the phone line. Any final thought? Any final?
I just wanted to thank you for posting the Kyron video. I was salivating when I saw that, man. He is absolutely ready to go. I cannot believe how fast forward he was moving, hopping around and juking.
Bro, yeah,
I'm going to make it a goal to get him in my redraft league this year for sure.
Make it a goal.
Well, and I would maybe on your next show I'll call in. I'd like some advice for the Dynasty team that I adopted a week and a half or so ago. It's got some nice pieces. I think you'll enjoy.
Yeah, let's go over it. You can call on the main channel about that too. That's okay. The main channel is Dynasty and Redraft, but you can definitely call in if we go live again tomorrow night on the Dynasty channel or something. That's fine too. All right. Hey, Ill Phil, appreciate you. Definitely. I got you on the phone line. You're able to call in quicker, so appreciate you. Thanks, Travis. Travis, anything else?
Just a quick question on Zamir White. If you were in a dynasty, I'm loaded at wide receiver, and I could use another running back. Would you give up a Jordan Addison for Zamir White?
Sure, easy.
Yeah,
easily.
Okay. And like a second rounder, would you give up on its own for Zamir White?
Second rounder, absolutely. For Zamir White, sure.
Okay.
And for anybody that thinks that's crazy to talk about giving up Addison or something, look, Addison is married to J.J. McCarthy in that situation. Until that proves to be lucrative, then I don't think this is a very, very, big thing to debate. Like, I could see somebody saying, I need a wide receiver. What if I trade Zamir White for Addison? I would probably say no, but I would not blame someone for liking Addison that much. Sure. So it's a very debatable question, but give me Zamir White. Now, Zamir could be in and out of the league in 2 or 3 years. I mean, he could be out of the league. I mean, it's tough to say, but I just think that, if we're going to bet on somebody and they bring a questionable situation to the table, but a lot of volume, but then they bring this size factor that Zamir's bringing, it makes me very intrigued to say this could turn out to be very special. I mean, he looks hungry.
Right, because
like literally.
Well, and my running backs are Bijan, Etienne, and Cook, and so I just thought if I could add a Zamir to that, really.
Yeah, I mean, especially if Addison's like, you could replace him. Maybe you got a Christian Watson. Maybe you got a Jalen Warren, or Jaden Reed.
He's like, yeah, I do. I have plenty. I have London, Olave, Puka.
Easy.
Nico.
Easy move.
Jaden Reed.
So easy move. I already did it.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. All right. Thanks,
all right, later, boys.
Appreciate it.
Ill Phil, in your redraft, make sure you get Blake Corum as well, okay?
Oh, absolutely. And I actually already have Corum in the Dynasty orphan that I adopted, too. I got to make a move for Kyron.
Attaboy. All right, appreciate you, Ill. We'll see you later.
Later.
All right, I'm out of here. Appreciate you all. See you all on the main channel. Don't forget we're live essentially. Here's all my channels so you guys know what the hell is going on. Of course, thefantasyfootballshow.com. That's the content. Instagram. This is the Dynasty channel you're watching right now. YouTube.com/DynastyFantasyFootball. This is the main channel. YouTube.com/thefantasyfootballshow, in which we're live Monday through Friday, every single Monday through Friday. Rain or shine, pandemic, no pandemic. The whole family's got it. We're still here doing it live. 8 p.m. Eastern every single Monday through Friday. Also live whenever news breaks. All the shows are pretty much on Spotify, so check that out at The Fantasy Football Show on Spotify. And then, of course, join the Patreon. If anybody doesn't know, the Patreon is basically an extension of this family. I sat there and, we had Discord for a while. Discord was a toxic place. I couldn't stand Discord, to be honest with you. I wanted to delete it immediately. And people are like, you can't delete an asset like that with all the following. It was dying. It was dying. It was toxic. We had people that, ruined it just by hanging out and being their negative selves. And I thought, I want to recreate what that was supposed to be. And so on the Patreon, here's the Patreon link. It's $10 a month, which weeds out all the trolls, because it's serious people that are paying, good money to come in and while that might not be a ton of money for some people, it's enough for some people that are like, hey, this is like 2 cups of coffee for me. I'm sacrificing so I can have a live community, 10 live chat groups. You can see right here, chat rooms, that when you pull up the Patreon app, it's got, best ball, general chat, and you just jump into each of them. They're always live, and you just post whatever you want, and it's got the most amazing crew in there, and it's going to get so busy too as we get closer to this to August 1. And there's a live game day chat where we're all going to live in there when the games are going on, whether it's the morning slate of games, the afternoon, the Sunday night, the Monday night, the Thursday, the Friday, whatever the case may be. And also there's exclusive content on it. The first 200 members, and we're getting close to that number, so hurry. First 200 members that get into the Patreon will get into the 242-man league that will be drafted live on a Saturday and maybe a Sunday, because there's going to be a lot of drafts. 11 drafts of 22 people. The details will all be explained to you. And then the winners of each of the 11 leagues get sent into a 2025 Dynasty Startup League with your boy that will be drafted live on the main channel. Appreciate you all. Hit that Patreon link. I'll drop it one more time. There it is. See you all later. Appreciate you for joining me on the Dynasty channel.